Hello and welcome to another challenge of resource management lesson. We've got a little cartoon there. You can have a think about that when you start the lesson. But the main focus of today's lesson is energy. Okay, you've got a few examples there. I've got a photograph there from one of my friends taken from a rig in the North Sea. He's actually a deep sea diver. Okay, so he goes and inspects the machinery underneath the ocean. Okay, he got some wind turbines as well, renewable sort of energy, stuff that we can use again and again and again. And you might have seen those popping up all over the country. And the current government's stance is that a lot of those end up in the sea. And then just here you can see we've still got a coal mining in the United Kingdom. You can see these huge diggers here, absolutely huge things, and they look minuscule on the photograph. You can see one in operation down there. That's an open cast coal mine in Northumberland. So we still have fossil fuel mining active in the United Kingdom. So the topic is energy in the UK, and really we're looking at the UK's changing energy mix, what's happening to domestic supplies of coal, gas and oil. So a couple of key terms. The energy mix, that's just the range of energy sources of a region or country, whether they're renewable or non-renewable. Okay, and to be really sort of secure in your energy mix, you probably need a good range of all different types of energy sources to guarantee that the power stays on. And a reminder of what a fossil fuel is: that's a natural fuel such as coal or gas formed in the geological past from the remains of living organisms. So the energy mix does relate to the different energy sources we use as a country and in which proportions, and we often split that up into renewable and non-renewable forms of energy. So your non-renewable forms of energy are things like fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas, which are used to provide heat or to produce electricity. They're non-renewable, so will run out, and they also pollute the atmosphere with greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and also dust and things like that, which are pretty bad for people's health. Renewable sources of energy include the sun, wind, waves, the tide, running water and any geothermal heat. They're renewable because they will not run out and they're non-polluting. Okay, but there are drawbacks because they return smaller amounts of energy, they take up quite a bit of land, and they require regular maintenance. There is one last type of energy, which is nuclear, where it's generally considered non-renewable because uranium is a fuel that will run out. Okay, but it's a lot more sustainable and better for the environment in terms of the atmosphere than fossil fuels. However, nuclear fuels produce waste, and that waste has to be dealt with, and we tend to shove it in holes under the ground, and that's not particularly good for the environment either. A lot of the UK's nuclear reactors are due to be replaced, and they're running towards the end of their lifespan. There is a massive scheme planned with the French company Électricité de France and the Chinese government providing some of the software and things for a reactor at Hinkley Point. Okay, and then the change in energy mix. We've changed over time, and up to the mid 20th century we were a coal-driven economy, and without coal, the Industrial Revolution might never have really taken off in the United Kingdom. Then we had oil drilling in the 1950s, and that changed that, and the government would like to change it further. So as you can see on the graph, they'd like us to head towards more renewable fuels. The other thing is the amount of energy that we're using has decreased as we become more efficient. So households are using less energy due to improvements in heating and conservation technologies like triple glazing. Industries use less because many of the heavy industries have shut down or gone to other countries, but we are using more energy for transport. The last thing to consider on this topic is that our fossil fuels are diminishing in source. So our coal is expected to run out somewhere in the very back end of this century. The gas will probably run out somewhere after 2050, and around 2050 the oil will run out as well. So you can see the decline in those fossil fuel types. We still have some coal mining. There's still 10 deep coal mines in the UK, 22 open cast mines, but a lot of the coal that's under the ground is hard to get at and uneconomic to mine. We have got the North Sea oil and gas fields, which has been exploited since 1975. oil and gas, they're really important to us, but a lot of our reserves are in Scottish territorial waters, and getting at those resources is difficult and dangerous. We have to put rigs out in the sea in very difficult conditions with huge waves and swell and things like that. And there have been disasters out at sea, including the Piper Alpha disaster in the 1980s, where an oil rig set on fire. Okay. The issue with running out of domestic supplies of coal, oil and gas is that it leaves us increasingly reliant on foreign fuels, having to buy those in. Okay, which is probably why we're pushing for renewables. So in terms of exercises, you're going to read through some web pages. I'll show you those in a minute. You need to define the terms energy mix and fossil fuels. There's a good video here from the Department of Energy and Climate Change, and there's 5 little questions for you to answer there. Then you're going to have a go at drawing some pie charts. I'll show you those in a minute, so you can draw those in Excel. I'll show you how to do that, and then consider how the government might want those changes to occur. Okay, so that's what they'll look like when you're done. And then the last set of tasks is just on that decline graph. So you're just going to try and read the graph. Okay, so you'll go from 2011, what's the proportion of coal, oil and gas and so on, and then the same for 2021. So I've drawn a line on there, and then by the time we get to 2090, it's all run out. Okay, so that's the general tasks. Okay, we'll come back to the dad joke in a minute. Right, so there's a worksheet here with the usual boxes in for you to put your answers in. Okay, there's the data for the graphs. There's an Excel file as well. All you'd need to do, if you want to draw a pie chart, select the data there, go to insert and select pie chart. Okay, and that'll just draw it for you. You can pick from the different options on the ribbon there for different types of graph. If you want one that can compare directly, you could go to insert, and there you could just pick a compound bar graph. Now we don't want the categories to be coal, gas, nuclear and so on, so we're just going to right click on select data, and we're going to switch the rows and columns over, and what that'll do is it'll show you the different mixes for the different time periods. Okay, then you can copy those back over to your worksheet and paste them in there. Okay, so just to finish up, little dad joke. What is a wind turbine's favourite colour? Blue. See you later.